This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. How do you do, fellow kids? Greg here. And listen, I know a lot of you are so disappointed in the fact that these M1 MacBook Pros have not come out in time for the new school year. And some of you, according to my comments section, are waiting and waiting for these laptops and putting off buying a new laptop for school. Well, I think for the vast majority of people out there, you shouldn't be waiting. School's already about to start, or has started. Has it started? I don't know. I'm not in school. The MacBook Air is the perfect back-to-school laptop, and here's why. All right, so why as a student should you pick the MacBook Air over all the other Macs available right now, and quite frankly, out of any laptop or iPad available? Well, for one, it's the lowest price MacBook currently available. Starting at $1,000, it comes with pretty much all the specifications most students would need, with 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of memory. However, because you are a student, you should not buy directly from Apple's standard website. Make sure you go to their education store, which I will leave a link to in the description below, because there are a lot of benefits to buying from their education program. First of all, the price of the laptop is dropped down by $100 to $899, and secondly, you get a free pair of AirPods. And if you're accident prone, or you just want to make sure your laptop survives the entirety of your schooling, you can also get 20% off on Apple Care. Sorry if that part sounded like a bit of an infomercial, but if you're a student, there is no reason you should not be taking advantage of these exclusive discounts. You all are working extremely hard and you deserve a break, and you know, good guy Apple is giving you a discount for once, and bad guy Sally Mae or Navient or the US government, they're straddling you with thousands of dollars of student loan debt, so I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. All right, the second reason for the M1 Air is the value. Now, this goes right in line with pricing, but it's a bit different because, yes, any Mac you buy, and if you plan to buy another Mac or an iPad, go to the education store. There are discounts available on all of those products. It's not just the MacBook Air. But because most students are smart and research other options, if you're landing on Apple's website, you're probably trying to decide between something like the MacBook Air or the M1 MacBook Pro or the iPad Pro, and God help you, maybe an Intel MacBook Pro. And while those different products might be the right decisions for some people watching this video, I think the vast majority of students should go for the Air because it has the lowest price with all the features you'll care about. Now, for a lot of students, I think they might want to choose an alternative like the iPad Pro. But be aware, if you choose that, there are some hidden costs to make it a full laptop alternative, because the MacBook Air from the start is a complete laptop, and it doesn't need any additional accessories like an expensive $300 Magic Keyboard to make it a laptop experience. And if you're comparing the base storage on both models, the Air gets the added value of coming with that 256 gigabytes of storage as standard, whereas on the iPad Pro, you have to pay $100 extra on both models. The keyboard on the Air is also excellent for long typing sessions and provides stability on the keys while still giving an overall satisfying click when typing, and comes with the Touch ID sensor, which is a great way to save time unlocking your computer, logging into password-protected Safari websites, password managers, and for changing system settings. The Air is also the smallest and lightest laptop in Apple's current lineup, weighing in at 2.75 pounds, and has the thinnest overall design if you count for the tapered edge design, which lets the Air get razor thin on the base of the laptop where you open the hinge. That means that the Air is the ideal candidate for taking this laptop with you. Its smaller form factor means it's easy to pack into even smaller messenger bags or book bags, as well as not taking up too much space on your desk, as well as excellent battery life. The MacBook Air has an outstanding 18-hour battery life rating from Apple, and in real-world usage, this thing actually delivers on a lot of that promise. It's one of the best laptops that I have ever used in terms of battery life, and it means that I can use this laptop all day long without ever having to worry about packing my power brick with me. That's an incredibly important feature for students who need to bring their laptop with them pretty much everywhere, and I have no doubts that this Air will easily get you through a full day of school, and you won't have to huddle in the corner and hunt down for wall outlets to charge this thing at the coffee shops during your study sessions. Like, the battery life is just great. And even if you did have to reach for a charger, one thing I love about the MacBook Air is that it uses a 30-watt power brick to charge the laptop and a USB-C cable, which means that you can basically use a huge variety of USB-C battery packs that run at 30 watts, and you can actually charge this thing from those battery packs. That means you can extend the battery life of this MacBook Air for just an absurd amount of time with something like this USB-C Anchor battery pack that I use. That means that even if you're a commuter, even if you're like going out for like a 24-hour venture, you could just use this MacBook Air all day long. And, you might be using that MacBook Air on free public Wi-Fi at your college or library or coffee shop. And if you are, well, it's always a smart idea to use a VPN like our sponsor for this video, Surfshark VPN. Listen, there are a lot of VPNs out on the market today, but Surfshark is a step above others that has some of the fastest VPN connection speeds on the market. And it's also easy to use on every single device you own with just one subscription, so you can stay safe when accessing public Wi-Fi spots on your phone or when you're browsing the web at home. You can do that all securely on any operating system like Mac, iOS, Windows, Android, and more. Not only is Surfshark easy to use, but it also comes jam-packed with features, letting you pick which country to use as a virtual network, letting you bypass artificial geo-blocking content. So that means you can get past censored web content in some countries or access other large catalogs of content. For example, Netflix has separate country libraries which are different depending on which country you log in from, like Japan's huge library of exclusive shows. And Surfshark is also safe, secure, and private because it maintains a strict no logs policy, so they never keep your data, and it's all backed up by industry-leading encryption. Best of all, Surfshark has a special code just for Greg's Gadgets viewers that will give you an 83% discount off a plan and 3 extra months of service for free. You can get this all by clicking the link in the description, so make sure you check out Surfshark VPN, and thank you so much to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. Now, of course, some of those design traits I just mentioned aren't too far off from the M1 MacBook Pro, which is still a great laptop, but it's adding a lot of additional features most users won't need or ones that won't make too much of a difference at a bigger price difference. Added features like the touch bar look nice and shiny, but in practice, it really doesn't offer a superior experience over the physical function keys of the MacBook Air. The brighter display on the Pro might also draw you towards it, but in my practice, I usually have the brightness on my laptop set to around 70 to 80%, and rarely do I need the extra 100 nits of full screen brightness that the Pro offers. Besides that bump in display brightness, the Air and Pro share an identical 13.3-inch Retina display with the same resolution and the same color accuracy, so you don't have to worry about getting the Air for a worse quality display. The M1 Pro also doesn't have any additional ports. It's just 2 Thunderbolt ports on both laptops. There's no advantage there, at least on the M1 machines. So for really anyone, but especially for students who might need to plug in an HDMI port for like a presentation or maybe the occasional thumb drive, you should probably make sure you're prepared with a simple but excellent Thunderbolt adapter. I use this one from Anker. Obviously, you can tell I use a lot of Anker products, but there's a lot of different brands that you could choose from, and all of them really do get the job done. If you want to purchase the one I use, I will leave a link in the description. Of course, the Pro has a power advantage because of the active cooling, but both of these laptops do have the M1 chip, and you will notice these performance bumps during long sustained performative tasks on the Pro, like exporting or rendering a video file, which is something that I do, but for the most part, the Air and the Pro are pretty snappy, and usually just as fast in day-to-day tasks. Speaking of that M1 chip, it's the secret sauce to the MacBook Air. It's the reason why most people watching this video shouldn't even consider the pricier Intel version of the 13 and 16-inch MacBook Pro, unless you absolutely still need to run a full version of Windows 10 in Windows Boot Camp, which is a legitimate reason. But if you can get by with emulation and a program like Parallels, or you just don't need Windows, I would avoid those laptops at all costs, because right now, especially the 13-inch Intel MacBook Pro model, that is an awful value. Very bad value. The MacBook Air is faster than those laptops, more efficient in battery life, and hey, it's dead quiet too. And yes, that really does all come down to the M1 chip. It delivers amazing performance that puts it right up in CPU power with even the more expensive 16-inch MacBook Pro, while still making sure that the laptop is extremely energy efficient. That's one of the reasons the Air is able to have that ridiculous battery life. The system is running at so much less power than it used to when running on those older Intel chips, and it just means that the Air really does last all day long. It's also the best laptop in my mind for peace of mind because there's zero fan inside of this machine, so it never annoys you with the sound of a whirling fan, which when I used a Windows laptop in college, that did actually embarrass me a few times because I would have it spin up on my desk and just make a lot of noise sometimes. And if you need to place this laptop on your lap, the days of the MacBook heating up to ungodly levels of heat and burning your lap, well, those are thankfully a thing of the past, because honestly, this MacBook Air barely gets warm even during the most intensive tasks. Speaking of more intensive tasks, like video editing or development, in the past year, this is where, when Intel ran the show, this is where I would definitely recommend stepping up to the more expensive MacBook Pro. But this year, I really don't have to, because while you can get better performance with the M1 Pro, it's not necessary to spend the extra money to upgrade to that machine anymore, because the M1 MacBook Air can really handle an incredibly diverse range of tasks. So not only is it going to be great for basic users or students who just need to do research, word processing, multitask, watch video, listen to music, attend online classes with a slightly improved webcam and actually pretty decent microphones. And it's also good for students who might need more demanding computer needs for majors like computer science, or for film and photo students, or hey, if you're planning to start your own YouTube channel in college, this machine has no problem running Final Cut. And hey, again, for, the extra money you save not buying the M1 Pro, you can put that into more important upgrades like the extra 16 gigabytes of memory, or maybe even more storage. Students who are pressing some of those more creative endeavors should also make sure you check out another student deal from Apple's website, where you can get all of Apple's Pro apps like Final Cut Pro and Logic bundled together for just $200. And you can also check out Adobe Creative Cloud and pay $20 a month for their student plan for all of Adobe's apps. And Premiere Pro, which is a video editor, recently got an update to run natively on the M1 machine. So that should also run pretty well on the Air. No matter how I look at it, no matter how many times I weigh the other options on the market, since November, I always return to the MacBook Air as my top recommended computer for most users, and I think it's the best laptop to get for school right now. All right, everyone, I really hope this video helped you out if you are looking to buy a MacBook Air for school, or really for any other reason, and I really hope you can take advantage of some of my cost-saving tips. If you did find this video helpful, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content. And hey, let me know if you got an Air for school, what do you think about it, and if you have any other videos you'd like me to make, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll get around to making them. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. I'm not a kid anymore. Or am I? I don't know. How old am I? I don't know.